The morning started off like any other episode of The View, a packed studio, hot coffee, and opinions flying faster than commercial breaks. But what no one anticipated was that this would be the episode that blew up social media and left one of Hollywood's most respected figures being ushered out mid-show. Denzel Washington, in town to promote his new political thriller Second Term, joined the panel for what was meant to be a fun, insightful segment on leadership, race in media, and his storied career. At first, the conversation flowed naturally. Whoopi Goldberg welcomed him warmly, Sunny Hostin asked a few deep-cut questions about his acting process, and even Sarah Haynes managed to sneak in a lighthearted moment about his iconic, King Kong, scene from Training Day. But when Joy Behar brought up a touchy subject, celebrity responsibility in politics, the mood shifted almost instantly. Joy, never one to hold back, leaned forward with her signature edge. "Denzel, don't you think celebrities like yourself sometimes cross a line when weighing in on political matters they don't fully understand?" Her tone was sharp, and her expression unreadable. Denzel blinked. The studio got eerily quiet. "Joy, I think that's a dangerous way to frame it," he replied calmly. "I've done my homework. I don't just speak to hear myself talk. And frankly, I find it insulting that someone would assume I haven't thought deeply about these issues." Joy smirked. "I'm just saying, when actors start acting like political analysts, it gets messy." That's when the audience began to murmur. Denzel sat up straighter, narrowing his eyes. "Joy, with all due respect, I've been around long enough to know the difference between performance and purpose. When I speak out, it's because I care. You might not agree, but I will not be talked down to as if I'm some clueless entertainer." The tension became palpable. Whoopi tried to jump in with a, "Let's not turn this into a shouting match," but it was too late. Joy leaned in, her voice rising. "This isn't about you personally, Denzel. It's about the role of influence. We've got people thinking actors are scholars now." Denzel let out a short laugh, but there was no amusement in his eyes. "And we've got talk show hosts thinking they're gatekeepers of truth. What makes your opinion more valid than mine, Joy?" A collective gasp echoed from the audience. "Because I don't hide behind characters." She snapped back. That's when the producers began whispering frantically through headsets. The control room lit up with red signals as floor managers scrambled to maintain order. The segment was going off the rails. Denzel stood up, clearly done with the passive-aggressive dance. "You invited me here. I showed up with respect. But if this is what you call a conversation, then I'll take a pass." Before anyone could stop him, Denzel removed his mic and began walking off stage. The camera briefly cut to commercial, but the chaos backstage was just beginning. Security didn't have to force him out. He walked out on his own terms, but ABC later confirmed they had asked him not to return for the remaining segments. By noon, #Denzel's Joy and Denzel kicked off The View were trending worldwide. Memes flooded X and Instagram. Some praised him for standing up to Joy's perceived condescension, while others sided with the longtime host, calling Denzel too sensitive. But one thing was certain. The interview that was meant to promote a movie turned into a moment that would define a whole new kind of drama, unscripted, raw, and completely unexpected. By mid-afternoon, major news outlets had picked up the story. TMZ released behind-the-scenes footage showing Denzel pacing back and forth outside his trailer, visibly agitated but controlled. "You bring me on for honesty, and then you can't handle it when I don't play the Hollywood game," he was heard telling a member of his team. Meanwhile, inside the ABC building, The View's executive producers were holding crisis meetings, trying to do damage control before the evening news segments latched onto the controversy. Joy Behar, meanwhile, remained characteristically unfazed on camera. During the show's final segment, she casually addressed the incident. "Well, folks, sometimes things get a little spicy at this table," she said with a shrug. "Denzel and I had a passionate exchange. We don't always agree, that's the beauty of live television." But her smile didn't quite reach her eyes, and viewers immediately sensed that the drama ran much deeper than she let on. Backstage, the mood was tenser. Whoopi Goldberg, known for her peacemaking presence on the panel, was reportedly furious, not at Denzel, but at how producers failed to intervene sooner. "That never should have escalated like that," she was overheard saying. "We're supposed to have conversations, not battles." Sunny Hostin echoed the sentiment, later posting a cryptic message on Instagram that read, "Respect isn't optional, even on a talk show." Meanwhile, Denzel's team issued a short but pointed statement later that evening. The statement only added fuel to the fire. Talk show rivals like the talk in real time with Bill Maher began weighing in, dissecting the clash and taking sides. Megyn Kelly invited Denzel onto her podcast for a proper conversation, while Trevor Noah, in his usual satirical tone, joked, "Joy Behar arguing with Denzel Washington is like bringing a butter knife to a sword fight." Online, fans rallied in support of Denzel, praising him for not allowing himself to be belittled. The hashtag Team Denzel dominated platforms, with several celebrities including Viola Davis, Don Cheadle, and Ava DuVernay tweeting in his defense. "Black men are always expected to stay calm while being poked," DuVernay wrote. "Denzel handled it with class. Period." But Joy's defenders were just as loud. Political commentator Anna Navarro tweeted, "Joy asks tough questions. If Denzel couldn't handle that, maybe The View wasn't the right couch." The show's official Instagram even had to disable comments on their latest post due to the flood of messages attacking Joy and ABC's handling of the situation. In the days that followed, ratings for The View surged, but so did the backlash. Petitions circulated calling for a formal apology to Denzel, and rumors began swirling that he might be planning a tell-all appearance with Oprah or even sitting down for an exclusive with Gayle King. Behind the scenes, ABC executives reportedly reached out privately to Denzel's team to clear the air, but insiders claimed he had no intention of returning to The View in the future. A source close to him told People, he was blindsided. He expected a conversation about his film and community work, not a live trial. Ironically, Denzel's film's second term opened to strong numbers at the box office that weekend, likely boosted by the storm of publicity. In interviews, he refused to dwell on the incident. "The work speaks louder than any table talk," he told Variety. But fans knew the moment on The View was about more than a disagreement. It became a symbol of ego, of expectation, of the fine line between open dialogue and public ambush. And while Joy Behar moved on to the next guest, and The View continued its daily run, the echo of Denzel Washington's calm, steely walk-off lingered. Some exits speak louder than any entrance.